Welcome to episode 2. We have a guest today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, I'm Marcie Kalebo, Aaron's sister. I almost said brother.
Yeah, this is my sister Marcie. I've talked about her a few times probably in the past.
A lot, actually.
And now she's on the pod.
I'm also AKA Dumb Idea's biggest fan. So
Oh, yeah.
Very
Biggest
true.
fan up in here.
She's watching every
I watch every
episode.
podcast the day it comes out, and I comment on like all your guys' posts. So
Good. That's the only way that you should do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you're watching this and you're not commenting,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah, you're not
You
doing
don't
it
count.
right.
Also, I literally totally forgot that we were supposed to be wearing our merch today.
Oh.
We're making merch, but it's not for
Well,
sale,
clearly
but
you
you can
forgot
have
as well.
some. Well, he doesn't have any yet.
Oh.
Yeah. She only has one thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
But we're going to make more, but we were waiting for him to get his
Something
pieces to make them.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because I haven't had money, which is part of my dumb idea.
Yeah. So why don't you? Shouldn't have a dumb idea.
No.
Oh.
Okay, thought of one right now.
She always thinks of one
No, it's just
instantly.
because I keep freaking hitting that clock and it keeps falling down. That's like, I cut that out of I cut every single time I hit it off in the last episode.
Oh.
Because you couldn't really hear that I knocked it down, and all you heard was just me being really
upset.
mad. And so you thought that it was at you.
So that's your dumb idea, is that you hit that clock.
Yes.
You-
Because I know it's there, but I keep knocking it off. And it actually, that stayed up very easy this time. But
Is it plastic?
yeah, which is
Exposing the set, guys.
good. Does it even... Is it accurate?
It should be.
I don't even know how
6:10?
to barely read a regular
6,
clock,
8?
and the numbers on that are like
6:09. I was so close.
Wow. Well, wait, so that is it? That's yours?
Yes.
Oh. Mine is
Well,
that...
usually Aaron doesn't have his.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Mine is, that I'm broke, basically, like in the basic. But it's because I am doing Newsies, and that's taking up so much of my work time. And so now all my hours are cut, and they already don't schedule me a lot normally. So, like, I basically have been working, like, 1 or 2 days a week the past, like, 2 months. And so I have, like, each paycheck, it's, like, $2. Not really, but...
That would be really impressive.
Your
if it
hourly
was
wage
$2.
is like 1 penny.
But I've been, like, scraping the bottom of the barrel for the past 2 months, and I've also been committing to buying things. Like, I've been committing to things that involve money
Yeah,
Like,
actually.
a lot,
I
too.
noticed that.
So I'm like, So, yeah, I don't have any money, basically, at all right now. And that's my dumb idea.
Good.
What's yours?
So I came up with a couple of them.
Good. Our
Um,
guest always has a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, every time I watch a podcast, I'm like, oh, I have like 8 billion dumb ideas I could share with this episode. And then I was always prepping for when I would be on the podcast. I needed to have my dumb ideas. And then I haven't got to watch the newest one because it's coming out in like 2 days. So I wasn't even thinking about it most of the time when you guys weren't doing it. But one of them is my car, like the trunk of it. It's like automatic, but when it gets just a little bit cold, the automatic thing will go up and then it'll immediately start falling. Like it doesn't stay up. And so obviously I forgot about that because it's been summer.
Right.
And the other day it was like pretty chilly, and I don't remember what I was getting out of my trunk, but I hit the button and it went up, and I was like just getting stuff out, and then all of a sudden it like hits me, and it's so hard. And like I thought I was gonna have a concussion.
Yeah, those are heavy too.
Yeah,
like,
it just
the doors.
slammed down on my head. So that, wasn't really my fault, but also I kind of forgot that happened. And then the other one was the fact that I ate an entire 3-finger combo from Raising Cane's before this podcast. so my tummy
Not a
hurts.
dumb idea.
Was it yummy?
Yeah, it was so good, but
That's
I
good.
usually don't eat the entire thing, and I was like,
Oh. Like in like all the fries too?
yeah,
Oh yeah.
all the fries, all the chicken, all the bread.
Okay, so now that we got our dumb ideas, the topic is serial killers or just killers in general.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yes.
murderers.
Yeah.
Murderers.
We chose this topic specifically because Marcie is very.
She is a murderer.
I
Yeah.
am a serial killer.
She actually has killed many people.
No, but also disclaimer: I don't like support serial killers. I almost
Right.
didn't want this to be the topic of the podcast because I
Me
was
too.
like, I don't want anyone to think that I'm like praising what they did.
But it's just
Obviously, so
interesting.
horrible. Yeah, it's so interesting to me, and I find it so intriguing. And I've like read so many things about serial killers. I've watched so many documentaries, and I don't think that they are like good people.
Mhm.
But I do think it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, me too.
Mm.
I've always been fascinated with
Yeah.
murder.
It's also
Yeah.
crazy that like serial killers were around for like literally ages. Like it's not like a
Mhm.
new thing. It wasn't like
Mhm.
like so many documentaries are from like the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like even before that there were serial killers.
Mhm.
That's actually so true. It's
Yeah.
not like it just happened in the 70s
and like
or the
the
80s.
first recorded was like what, Jack the Ripper in like 18 something, like late 1800s or like early 1900s.
Yeah, and he was in what, the UK,
Yeah.
wasn't he? Yeah, and then there was some guy, I don't know if so I don't remember this guy's name, but he was like one of the like I would like my job before I'm a nanny now. My job before that one, I just kind of was on a computer all day. So when I first got the job, I was afraid to like do anything except like be on the computer looking like I was doing work. So I would just like read about serial killers. Like I go on Wikipedia and like find them and like read about them. And I like tried
Wow.
like to find the first one.
Hmm.
I don't know if this is actually the first one, but there was some guy and they based all of the movies about the Chainsaw Massacre on this guy.
Oh.
Really?
And I don't know if he was like necessarily a serial killer, but I think he killed like one or two people, and then the rest of them he just dug up out of the grave site because he liked to make stuff out of their bones.
Interesting.
And the first person that died that he like Santa Loop was his mom. Like he was like a mommy's boy, and he literally like went and dug up her body when it was still like flesh on it, and like carved her skin off of her bones so he could make a suit and a mask out of her. So that he
Ew.
was
That's
Wow.
crazy.
yeah, he needed to feel one with his mother.
Trigger warning if you don't
Yeah, sorry.
crazy
That's
stuff.
crazy.
That is
But
crazy.
like the Chainsaw Massacre guy, like if you watch any of those movies, the only one I've actually watched because I don't like horror movies, but I love serial killers.
Yeah, that's weird.
But the one movie I watched, Chainsaw Massacre, is the one that came on Netflix like 3 years ago, and he literally like he wears a mask of someone's flesh. Like each person he would kill, he'd like carve their face off their head and like put it on a new, like it's a new mask for him.
Weird.
That's
I
so
remember like
crazy.
hearing that it was like based off a true story, and I was like really shocked
Yeah, it's
that it
horrifying.
was.
Anytime I like see a little movie or a TV show and it's like this is based off a true story, I'm like,
Yeah, literally.
it's what?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, me too.
never. Yeah, me too.
So that's crazy. Also, I feel like we have to talk about the Menendez brothers
Oh,
because that's
for
so
sure.
current.
That's
They're
the-
not
Right.
serial killers, but
Mhm. But they're
they did
killers.
kill their parents.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that's so relevant too.
Yeah. That's
What's
the
going on in
freshest
social
thing in my
media today.
mind right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, so I watched the first episode of that show that you guys watched. Only. No. 2 episodes. What did we watch? 1.5?
Mm.
Oh yeah, is it called what's it, Monsters?
Yeah,
The Monsters.
The Lyle and Menendez.
Story.
The Lyle and Menendez? The Lyle and Eric Menendez story.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know like a little bit of the story, but you guys should like brief it and then
Yeah.
give your
Mhm.
thoughts.
I had read about it, of course, before
Right.
the show even came out, because when I was on my spiel of reading about all these people, I read about them, and I didn't really look that much into it. I was just like, oh, how interesting, like they killed their parents, all this stuff. And they're in prison.
Right.
And then when the show was about to come out, like everyone on TikTok was like talking about it, and I really looked into it because everyone was like, these guys like don't deserve to be in prison anymore and everything. And so I really looked into it, and I was like, oh yeah, they were like severely abused in their childhood and pretty much killed their parents because they felt like that was their only way out.
Yeah, which is so sad.
Yeah. And I literally just today, preparing for this, watched the actual documentary that came out on Netflix.
Started watching that this morning.
Oh, I didn't know that was out already.
Yeah. So if anyone is wondering about them, I would recommend to watch the documentary instead of the TV show, because the TV show doesn't really do them justice and kind of paints Lyle Menendez as like an actual monster.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know. I don't know if the guy who wrote it really believes that Lyle deserves to be in prison and deserves to die, or was like actually malicious, but all the evidence points to him being abused, and all of their family members are like, let them out. Even to this day, they're like, they deserve to be free. So I don't think their family members would be so behind them if they didn't think that.
Yeah, especially since like their parents were their family too.
Yeah,
so.
like the mom, her name's Kitty, her sister was on the documentary. Like, I can't believe, because the dad abused both the little boys, and then the mother knew about it the whole time and just was like,
didn't care.
she's like, whatever, it doesn't happen, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, she was so probably also so brainwashed by that guy that she was like, well, I can't do anything about it. Like, I can't control him, I can't stop it. Like, he's gonna do what he wants, and I'm gonna love him anyways.
Yeah, that's
Which is so
wild.
crazy.
That
So
is crazy.
And so her sister is being interviewed, and she's like, I can't believe that she didn't do anything. That's unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
And she's like, they just don't deserve to be in there.
Because not only is your husband doing those things to kids, but it's also your kids. Like,
Yeah, like, when I hear about it, obviously I'm not a mother, but when I hear about it, I'm like, how can anyone be okay with that?
Yeah.
yeah.
And I can't even imagine if I was a mother, what I would do if someone did that to my children.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even imagine.
So scary.
That's just
What can
crazy.
happen, like, behind closed doors that no one knows about?
Yeah. And, like, some of the family members even went to Kitty, and they were like, Eric told me his dad is abusing him. And she was like, no. Don't ever talk about it again.
It's just like, in those situations, like if I was like the family member, I wouldn't know what to do, because I, like, of course, like, the kid is saying this, but also the adult is saying it's not happening. And so it's just kind of like, what do you believe?
Yeah,
like,
you're
in that
was
situation.
the kid lying?
Yeah.
Which his cousin who told Kitty about it was testifying in court during their trial, and she was like, I mean, he told me, and I told Kitty, and she was like, no, he's not doing that. Don't ever bring it up again. And so she was like, oh, I guess that might not be true. But now she's like, if they went and killed their mom over it, like,
Yeah.
clearly something
Probably
very
was true.
Yeah.
Kids are crazy, but I don't think they're that crazy.
Yeah. So they were almost like, they were up for, basically the jury had to decide if they were going to be charged for first-degree murder or manslaughter. And manslaughter is like, basically they did it out of self-defense, and they felt like that was their only option. And murder is like premeditated, planned out, kind of malicious.
Okay.
Right.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that's...
Manslaughter sounds worse to me.
It does. It does.
It
Yeah.
sounds really horrible. But apparently that's the lesser charge. And then that first trial that they went through, the jury could not agree. Like, I think they took over a month of just talking, the jury just talking after the trial was over. And they were like, yeah, we can't come to an agreement. So the trial was a mistrial. And they went to a new trial, and the judge said, you're not allowed to use abuse as an excuse in this trial. And the only charges you have now are murder or you didn't do anything. Which the brothers had clearly said, we did murder them.
Yeah.
But here's why. And so now they had no defense.
Why couldn't they use abuse?
The judge just was like, I'm not doing that excuse. which is just horrible.
That's not
so
an
stupid.
excuse. It's like
So terrible. He was literally like, you can't use your abuse in your...
it's like saying no, that evidence doesn't count.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
It's like that was their reasoning. So now
Yeah.
you just want to tell, like, yeah, we
So
murdered
there's
them. So
absolutely no other option for
yeah.
them now.
So it's like the jury obviously wasn't going to be like, oh, they're innocent, because
Mhm.
they clearly stated we killed our parents.
Yeah.
so wait, do the jury decide everything? So then what does the judge do?
The judge, like, I mean, I don't really know, but I think the judge, like, basically is like the head guy there. So if anyone is getting a little too much, he can be like, "Pew, pew, pew." Like, settle down. And then, like, when they are arguing, like, the defense and the prosecutors, one person can be like, what did they say?
Objection.
Yeah, objection, like, that's doing this, this, and that. And the judge can either be, like, overruled or he'll allow it. So it can still be in. So the jury all has to decide what the sentencing is, really.
Mhm.
And the
Interesting.
judge
I also
reads it.
think it depends on the
Yeah. The
what
case.
because like sometimes I don't think there's even a jury.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Really,
I
if
think
it's not
it's
really that big of a case,
like
they
if it's
might
like
not have a jury.
ticket or like if
Yeah.
it's something
Mm.
like that where it's just between like two people. It's just the judge who's there
Yeah, like
deciding.
divorce and stuff. I don't know if they have a jury for
Mm,
that. Like, I
yeah.
don't think
Right.
That would be
Okay.
Unless there's like a bigger story behind the divorce.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
I didn't even ever think about that.
Yeah.
Like obviously like I knew that the jury decided, but I don't know, I just thought it was the judge was just kind of like final decision. I don't know.
Mhm.
Which, thank goodness that judge couldn't decide, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
he was so obviously biased to them. And a huge part of it back then, since it was so long ago, was that I think it was basically the women on the jury and the men on the jury disagreed. The men were like, how can men be abused?
Right.
Which is
Oh.
just so horrible.
That
And all the
yeah.
women were like sympathetic with it because they probably all experienced something along the lines.
Mm-hmm.
And the men were like, as a man, you can just leave, or you can just man up and get out of there. Like,
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I would
That's unbelievable.
I would kind of feel like it would be like the opposite.
yeah.
Like the opposite sides would think different things, because like I don't know why I would, if I was a man, I don't think I would say, oh yeah, that's you can't be abused.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make any sense. Like I don't know.
But yeah, so many people have made a statement like, if it was the Menendez sisters, they wouldn't be in prison right now, probably.
Oh yeah,
Which is such a
probably.
good point. And they got sentenced to life without parole. Like, they had no chance of getting out, and they were even up for the death penalty for this. Like, they could have been killed over
Which
this,
is
which is crazy.
unbelievable.
Like, there
That's
are people who
way
do
too
what
much.
their father did to hundreds of women and
Mhm.
don't get the death penalty.
Mm.
Which,
That is
I mean, just my opinion, if you're abusing children, you deserve the death penalty. That's just my opinion. I don't agree with child abuse. Any abuse,
yeah.
but child abuse is unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy. I
So-
feel like I'm like it's like really hard to like have things to say because I'm just kind of just like thinking about how
Yeah, it's
just absolutely
so
crazy
shocking.
all of this
Mhm.
is. So
Yeah. And so now they have been in prison for like 30 some years. They're like both like in their 50s.
oh
And they did this crime when one of them was like, what,
17.
18? 18? I think must have been 18 because he was tried as an adult.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I think Eric was 18 and Lyle was like 21.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're like 55 and I don't know how old
are they
is.
in the same prison together?
Finally, they are. When they
Oh.
first got like sentenced to life without parole, they split them up
Mm.
for years,
That's so sad.
and
Yeah.
then they finally got to be in the same prison again. And now they've just announced that they are going to resentence them.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
heard
what I was
that.
like
Mhm.
thinking, curious about because it's like all coming up again and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Like,
Mhm.
and even the prosecutor who prosecuted them in the first trial was on the documentary, and she was like, "They can never make me like her. Oh my goodness, she's
Mm.
horrible. She's just like, they deserve what they got." And she's like, they're not going to be out. Like, they are horrible. And whenever they got sentenced to life without parole in the second trial, she didn't prosecute that one, but she was like, She's like, I was so happy. I was just mad I couldn't be the one that put them in prison. Like,
Ew.
to this day,
Whoa.
she was saying that. And then she was like, the only reason we're doing this little special on Netflix is because TikTokers think that they know how to work the legal system. Should we just take a poll and TikTokers can decide people's fate in court? Like, she's just being sassy for no reason.
Yeah.
But like also
Okay.
TikTokers are people.
Yeah.
Like
They're not just like
They, like,
random
have-
little bots running around.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically us.
yeah.
It's literally just
So
Then-
now I'd like to see which her reaction is when they got a resentencing. Like, it's not happened yet, but like they have a
So-
chance to get out.
yeah.
How are they gonna have a chance to get out if it's like they don't have like new evidence or anything?
Yeah,
like
they
There
do.
are
They do?
two like
Mhm.
new things that came out recently.
And also,
How?
I mean, they just have like, they didn't really try to
Mm.
find evidence for them. Like, the prosecutors were like, this isn't about what happened to them or why they murdered them. This is just about them killing.
Interesting.
So they didn't even really like, I mean, in the second trial, they didn't even allow any of that evidence in anyways.
Right.
So,
True.
yeah. I mean, definitely think they did murder their parents and they did deserve to go to jail
Right.
for a specific amount of time, but with no parole is crazy,
Mhm.
especially at the age they were. Like, they're in their 50s now, and
Yeah.
they deserve to not be in prison anymore.
That's
agree.
it. Like it was also like a totally different time when
Yeah.
that happened. Like sexism and stuff clearly,
Mm-hmm.
and that's still a huge problem, but like not as much as it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So, like
no one was really available to advocate for them. Like,
right.
it was broadcasted on TV, like their whole court trial, whatever. And people were like, oh, these murderer boys, they deserve to be locked away forever. Like, everyone was
Yeah.
so against them. And even more so because they were bringing up their abuse, and they were like, these boys, they can't be abused. Only women can.
Wild.
No.
Doesn't even make any sense, but
But
So crazy.
that's probably the only murderers I think don't deserve to be in prison. All the rest of the serial killers needed to be in
Yeah.
prison long before they were.
not including how like the reason why they murdered someone in their trial doesn't make any sense
No.
because even if their reason was, oh yeah, I just didn't like them, like that's still a reason, and
Yeah.
that like
It's important.
contributes to
Yeah. The whole story of
Yeah,
what is
like-
going on.
that is a
Yeah.
that just seems very illogical.
Yeah. It's like
Mhm.
not that like they weren't not ever trying to not go to prison or say that they weren't guilty for it.
Mhm.
They were just like, hey, this shouldn't be first degree murder.
Right.
That's all they wanted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They should have gotten it. But
Guess the flavor. We're just doing like regular schmegular, just like candy, and you just have
Oh.
to guess what the flavor is.
Okay.
Don't look at my bag right here. This is gonna be a wall. Okay, so I don't really know which one I should start out with, but I need so you guys are gonna hold your hand out and keep your eyes closed, and I'm gonna put it in your hand, and you have to. I don't know if I'm gonna tell you. I'll probably tell you what candy it is,
Okay.
but you don't get to see what it looks like.
We just
Of
eat
course.
it with our eyes are closed the whole time.
Well, once it's
after
in
you
your
put it in
mouth.
I think.
Once it's in your mouth, you can. But okay, don't
Oh.
eat it yet. Don't eat it yet.
I already think I know what it is.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you what it is, but you still have to guess the
Is
flavor.
this
I
like-
think it's a Starburst.
Normal candies.
wrong.
Oh.
What? Were we not
it's a
supposed to like
it's a
feel around?
kiss. It's a Hershey kiss.
Oh, okay.
Okay, eat it.
Oh, this is gonna be gross.
Hmm. It's kind of disgusting.
Okay, what's your guess?
Well, it's kind of crunchy.
Yeah, there's like a crunch in it. Caramel.
Is this like Halloween flavor?
Mm-mm.
Is it like a... Like when I ate it, like I felt like I was eating like a Twix.
Okay.
But like, would they have like a mix?
I don't know.
I don't know what that flavor would be.
Well, that would count as a flavor, I feel like. But
Like Twix kiss.
okay, what's your guess?
That sounds really good. I wish I would have thought of that. But I'm gonna go with a crunch. candy bar. It's not tasting
Oh, okay. It is cookies and cream.
Oh,
I did kind of think maybe there's some white chocolate in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like white
I see.
Right.
There.
That's so funny.
chocolate.
That's actually...
They're all white chocolate.
Yeah, literally.
They're not. That's the only one. Which is good. Okay. Now this one. Hold on.
Just gotta...
Gotta open it first. I should have already done this.
This is like I'm actually fine with things that I don't like right now because I'm starving. I haven't eaten all day.
Oh, yeah. We should have a scrumptious dinner after this. I did not bring one of
Wait,
these for
can we eat
me.
it now?
Yeah.
Oh, this is our burst.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot to tell you. It's a
That was
Starburst.
the hardest thing I've ever eaten. If it's
Yeah.
hard,
Like
I think
raw.
You don't have
hard.
to swallow
I
it
think
if you
it's
don't want
stale.
to. It might be.
Okay, hold on.
I found it in my brother's candy, so.
Oh.
Well, it didn't do anything to it.
Mine's so hard chewing.
It's okay if you want to spit it out.
Hmm.
I think it's lemon.
Okay. No,
Me
don't.
too.
You're both correct.
Oh,
Mm.
It is lemon.
When you said lemon, it was like the only thing I could taste.
I was kind of getting like lemonade.
Mm.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want like a trash can?
I almost got mine.
Okay.
Mine's still.
Oh,
Also-
I thought you were swallowing it whole. I was like, oh my gosh.
When you said Halloween for the Halloween flavor
Mhm.
for the cookies and cream, that was kind of close because like Halloween, like that was a good guess because in Halloween time they use a lot of white chocolate in
That's
their
true.
candies to make it ghost.
Mm.
So smart.
I kind of thought maybe it was white chocolate since I hated it, but
Oh yeah. Well, I checked to make sure you weren't allergic to anything, but I
Oh.
guess I didn't think about flavors. But that makes it better.
it's fine. I thought this was gonna be like,
Like gross things.
yeah, like you were just
So,
gonna
like-
stick stuff from the fridge in my mouth, like then my childhood.
I would have done so like I wanted to do those like spaghetti soda and like stuff like that.
The weird sodas that you get from that one store.
Yeah. But like I said, I forgot it was today. I was thinking I have till Wednesday. It's
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
But I don't.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay. Next one.
Is this the last one?
No.
Oh.
We have 2 more after this.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh.
It's
This is a Sour Patch
Yeah.
Kid.
Mm.
it's so hard to tell the flavor of Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah.
Mm,
I don't like this one.
Okay, I have my guess.
me too.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the green one.
I'm gonna. When I said that, there were still like 3 options in mind. I'm gonna go with the, like, there's only like, yeah, red.
Okay. It was green.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't like that one.
Yeah, literally me neither. Because I tried to pick one that wasn't the best flavor
Yeah,
because that's recognizable because
So
it's the
obvious.
best.
It's the blue one.
Yeah, real. Okay, wait, don't look. Okay, close your eyes again.
Oh yeah.
We have one more after this one.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
This is definitely coffee flavor.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's a Werther's. You didn't tell us that.
Right,
The little
because
caramel thing.
I wanted to see if you could guess the caramel also.
It's definitely a coffee.
Yeah, it's caramel coffee.
Mhm. I can tell instantly.
Right.
I like it.
I forgot I wanted to do that one first.
Yeah, we're gonna have to spit this one out.
Yeah. Because if there's one more,
So when I asked you if you want, okay, actually I do have.
just give us rappers.
Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Oh, don't look right here. Here, you can spit it in this bag.
It's pretty good though. Wow.
That was the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life.
You just gotta go for it.
Because I was trying to...
Thanks, I'll save that for later.
I was trying to spit it out without slobbering all over, so I sucked all the slobber, but then it was all stuck,
Then it was stuck
to my tongue,
you
and so I was
have
like...
you have to rocket launch it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the last one, and I think this one's going to be
okay.
more difficult.
Okay.
Oh. I haven't gotten a single one of them right. So.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you had the lemon one.
Oh, yeah.
Just copied me though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so small.
Okay, pop it in.
No.
I
Are you
hate jelly
mean?
bean. I hate jelly beans.
This one's definitely going to... This is the hardest one, because it's a jelly bean. Jelly belly. It's not, like,
Wait.
Bean Boozled or anything.
Oh, bubblegum.
No.
I'm getting, like, pumpkin flavor.
Okay. It is eggnog.
Oh.
So I actually always say that...
it just tastes like bubblegum.
I always say that eggnog tastes like bubblegum. Like,
Oh, really?
real eggnog. Like, the aftertaste is like
Yeah.
bubblegum.
At first it didn't taste like bubblegum, but then at the end it tasted like I was just chewing a bubblegum.
I felt like I was just... Like, it was... Like, I smelt pumpkin spice.
Oh.
Well, it
Candle.
was in a bag with pumpkin pie, and it was like a holiday flavor.
I
So,
hate jelly beans.
whoa. So in a way, it was gross flavors.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that was nasty.
okay, well, good job, guys. I think Marcie won.
Yeah. I
Yay!
didn't get any of them right. Okay. Back to colors.
Whoa, I'm sure that sounded great.
Back to what?
Killers.
Oh, I think colors. I was like,
Back to colors. So who do you guys find the most interesting, I should say? Not necessarily favorite, but
Killer.
it's such a hard question. They all
Real.
are so interesting in their own ways.
mhm.
I'd say the three I know most about are Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, and John Wayne Gacy.
I've heard
Which
of
one's
all
that
of them.
one?
The
John
clown.
Wayne Gacy is the clown.
The clown.
killer.
Okay. So,
Wait, I didn't tell mine.
well, I was about to say mine.
Oh, I didn't.
I don't actually know very much about any of them. So, like, the one that I know the most about is Jeffrey Dahmer. So,
Yeah.
that's probably the one I find the most interesting just because it's the only one.
Yeah. I think the one I find the most interesting is the Zodiac Killer.
Oh, did you just watch that? There's a documentary about the Zodiac Killer on Netflix
Oh, yeah,
now.
I heard of that.
Really?
I just watched the trailer for it today,
But
actually.
I think that one's just interesting because, like, no one knows who it is still.
That's
I don't
terrifying.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. like,
But wouldn't
he's-
he be like 70 or something?
Yeah, he'd,
Or
like, be, like,
dead?
old and stuff, but, like...
That's so crazy. And, like,
But he like wanted people to find him, right?
Yeah, he was, like, giving...
Some
he
of
was, like,
them, like-
taunting the police.
yeah, some of them love, like, the chase of it. Like, they like to, like, give the police clues. Was he one of those guys?
Yeah,
Like,
he
gave
was...
them clues?
He, like, at the scene of, like, almost all his crimes would be, like, the Zodiac sign. And then, like, he would send them cryptic, like, letters. And he would, like, call them. And he would, like, do all these things.
And they
Some
didn't
of
catch
the
him.
calls and letters were, like, not actually him. But, like, there were, like, so
Just-
many. And they never found him.
Crazy people
Still.
trying to make it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like when it's not solved.
Yeah, it's so unsatisfying.
Yeah.
It's so unsatisfying. Like, there's that series on Netflix or wherever it is called, like, Unsolved Mysteries. You will never catch me watching that.
Like BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Ugh,
I remember watching it, and then
love
at the end
BuzzFeed
they're like, and we still don't know who did it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
even though you know that because
You're watching
I just
Unsolved.
watched this whole thing for no reason.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I'm like, so he's still alive. There's
Right.
still a killer.
They're just still out there.
There's still
Yeah.
this killer.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Night Stalker.
Yep.
That one's
The Night
crazy.
Stalker is really good.
Okay, that sounds really
That
scary.
one's so scary.
I think I knew about that one, but I couldn't
That one's
confidently
so
say
crazy
anything.
because the people captured him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he got
Mm.
caught by the people. Like they found out who he was and released his photos to the public. And he was like walking on the street and someone was like,
Wait, that is
That's
so cool,
him.
actually.
Yeah.
And then like the whole
and,
neighborhood
like the
was,
whole
like,
neighborhood
chasing
chased him down and like beat him up.
Beat him
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And then he
Whoa.
was caught.
That one was
I mean, good for them.
that's a good ending on that one.
Yeah.
Justice.
Yeah. But yeah, the one I hate the most of all of them is Tonwayne? is John Wayne Gacy. I hate
Yeah,
him.
he's creepy.
He like actually makes me sick to my stomach.
He was in the Dahmer show, right? Like
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all I know about him.
Was he like arrested after or before?
Yeah, he was like in jail with Jeffrey. Yeah, Dahmer.
I do not like him. He is very icky. I've explained this to a few people I've talked to serial killers about, but I think there are psychopath serial killers and there are sociopath serial killers.
Mm-hmm.
And a sociopath to me is like a Jeffrey Dahmer, where he is obviously something is wrong in his head,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and he just kills all these people, and he doesn't really think much of it. But when he's caught, he knew it was wrong, and he felt bad about it, and he gave all the information to the cops that he could.
Hmm.
He did not hold anything back. He was like, let me help you guys find these people. Let me help you, like, give all these families peace with it. Like, he knew that he had messed up.
Right.
He just
Yeah.
couldn't help himself, like, basically. Like,
Mhm.
did horrible things.
Right.
So horrible.
Yeah.
So bad. Insane. And, like, if you watch the Jeffrey Dahmer show, it is hard to watch.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But then John Wayne Gacy is a psychopath.
Mm.
Like, he does all this stuff, and he thinks it's a joke. He thinks it's funny. He does no remorse.
That's always so
He,
annoying.
Like, if you watch the John Wayne Gacy tapes, they're, like, record him in prison of, like, him, like, telling a story, and he will laugh.
Whoa.
And he will, like, be like, you guys will never know. Like, those kinds of people
Ew.
make me sick.
That's
I have
foul.
not seen that.
He
But that
was
sounds-
a sick man. Like, he does not care about anything that he's done. He has no remorse for it, and he just keep doing it. I think Jeffrey Dahmer would also probably keep doing it. Like, he should never be... He's dead. But he
Mhm.
should never be left out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he is one of those people that should be in prison and, like, be getting help.
Mhm.
Because
Mm.
I think there's a chance for him to, like, still be in prison, but, like, have a good life in prison and, like,
Right.
have morals.
Yeah.
Whereas John Wayne Gacy, there was absolutely nothing you can do for him. He's just
That's-
messed up in the head, and he's a sick person.
That's so sad, because, like, how did that happen? Like,
Like,
how did he
they-
get like that? Like, he
Yeah.
was just, like, a kid one time.
And that's
Yeah.
like the question that people always ask is like, were you like monsters born or were they made?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's why I think psychopaths are born that way. And I think sociopaths learn that.
Mm.
Or some type of trauma happens to them to where
Mhm.
they or something is wrong in their brain.
Mm.
And psychopaths are just sick.
Just
Yeah.
like that.
I think Ted Bundy is also a psychopath.
Ted Bundy was like the
Yeah.
first serial killer that like got me into all of them.
Yeah, I probably watched the most documentaries on Ted Bundy, but I think he has the most out about him.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's like one of the most famous
Yeah,
ones.
he's very.
Did
very
he, like,
popular.
Give all the information when he got caught? Or was it all just found out?
He gave quite a bit of information, but I think like since he's also a psychopath, he played games with the police too. Like he was like,
Mm.
there could be like hundreds more of them
Right.
all over the place. I'm buried, and you don't know. Like
Yeah.
he kind of told them where some of them were, but then was just like I think the number of his killings is so unknown because he was out for such a long period of time doing it. And this man was in prison and escaped like 2 times.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he escaped.
I don't know very much about him other than the fact that he was like super smart and like super nice, I guess.
Well, everyone's like, oh, he was so nice and he was so attractive and he was so like serial killers are always people you wouldn't really ever expect.
Mm-hmm.
And Ted Bundy was one of those people that like everyone would see him and they were like, oh yeah, he's such a nice, like handsome, attractive man.
Interesting.
But those are the guys that can lure girls.
Right. I guess, yeah,
because
it makes
they don't
sense.
give you bad vibes at first.
Yeah.
But
if they're like creepy, then they're probably not very good
yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
Because like nobody's going to go up to them.
Yeah, Ted Bundy literally like was in prison and somehow escaped from prison. And then they like caught him again. And I think like while he was in the courthouse for a trial, he like jumped out the window and ran again. Like, are we not? Why do we not have this guy like?
Yeah. How
They are wild for that.
escaping from prison sounds like a myth. Like it doesn't sound like it could actually happen. Because there's just like so much. Like the walls are cement.
How did he even escape? Like, didn't he like? I don't know. I feel like there was like a hole. Like very stereotypical. Like he like.
Wow.
There was a hole in
Like
his
cartoon.
cell or something.
Dug it out with a spoon.
Unless
I can't really remember. It's been a while since I've watched anything on Ted Bundy. I know that he jumped out of the courthouse window.
Yeah,
I knew
remember
that one. I don't know how he got out of the actual prison though.
But when stuff like that happens, it just makes more regulations so that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Which I guess is good, but still not great that it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ted Bundy's not the one you want escaping.
Right.
It's so horrible.
I guess he could have just been like, because he was like really smart. It could have been something like he tricked the police or something. But I don't know. I didn't see.
Yeah,
I don't know very much
I
about him.
can't remember about him what he did, but yeah, John Wayne Gacy is just like so horrible, and like all of his victims were little boys,
Right.
which I can't stand that. And he buried like all of them under his house.
I remember you saying that actually one time.
He like had a little crawl space in his home, and that's where he'd bury all the bodies until he had too many bodies in there. He couldn't even fit anymore, so we started throwing off a bridge.
How did nobody notice
That's what I'm saying.
that he threw them off a bridge?
I think that's like shortly after he was caught. Was once he finally like had no room left under his house. But that's like insane. How do you not have any more room under your house for little boys?
That's like the whole
They're so small.
yeah,
footage of the house covered
so
with
horrible.
bodies.
That is crazy. Oh my gosh. That is.
Yeah.
How did he get caught?
I can't remember.
Oh.
I think they must have like traced some of it back to him, and then finally, like I know they were like searching his house, and they like went under the crawl space, and they were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
like that's not good. That's not good at all." Like, I can't remember though. Like it's been a while since I've watched him. Like the ones that I'm probably most up to date on are obviously the Menendez brothers, and then Jeffrey Dahmer. I know exactly how he got caught because that one's so crazy too. And
Well, that one, I guess I don't know how true that show was to the story, but like, it was crazy because like that his neighbor was like saying that that she smelled weird stuff, and it was like he was acting weird, and then like just nobody believed her. Like,
yeah. Well, and he had been literally like arrested years prior to his like final arrest for, can we say the R word on your podcast? I don't know.
Whatever.
Graping a like another guy, and like they just like had a trial for it and let him go.
what?
That's crazy.
So like they had him,
Mm-hmm.
and they were just like, "Oh, yep, it's all good. Like he's free to go."
That is
And what's so insane about
crazy.
that is that the brother of the final victim of Jeffrey Dahmer, that's the brother of the guy that he was on trial for at that first trial.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, so the same family was affected 2 times.
Wow.
That's like fate.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And then, like, there's just so many things. Like, Jeffrey Dahmer, like, he went into a bunch of, like, I don't know what they were called at that time, but, like bathhouses? Is that what it's called?
Like,
That sounds
It's like
right.
bars, like, underground, basically, that, like, you could basically go to a room and have SEX. And he went to those, like, all the time, and he literally got banned from multiple of them because he would drug his victims and grape them.
But that's just like, oh yeah, you're just banned. Like,
yeah,
what?
they were like, hey, you can't come back here. Like, people are complaining about you. Like, why don't we, like, put some, like...
maybe you call the authorities.
People are complaining.
Yeah,
It's like-
and I mean, who knows? It might be because those places are, like, doing illegal things. So they
Right,
couldn't.
so-
True.
But
Still.
still, it's like you could have saved so many people.
Yeah.
Oh, that is crazy.
And then, like, obviously he ate his victims, which is, like, I think
Oh, yeah.
what makes Jeffrey Dahmer so... I know a lot of serial killers did that, but, like, he's very significant in that aspect of eating them.
Mm.
Crazy.
I can't imagine, like, being, like, inside his apartment during all those killings.
Oh my gosh. Like, his apartment or like the building?
In his apartment of, like, all the crazy things that are in there. Because they found, like, way too much stuff in
Yeah,
there.
there's so much stuff in there. I mean, and, like...
He wasn't even being very careful either.
Mm.
And yet it still took so
Christ.
long.
And
to-
before he had his apartment that he lived in by himself, he lived with his grandma and did it in her basement.
What?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Like- And then that one guy that he had so many victims that he started to try to figure out how to, like, make them zombies, basically.
Oh, yes.
Like,
I
you know,
remember
he'd
this.
drill into their head
Mm-hmm.
and, like, pour stuff into their brain to try and, like,
Yeah.
basically kill their brain, but they could still function.
Right.
Like, he had too much time on his hands to, like,
Yeah.
try and
Yeah.
experiment with people. Like, when one wouldn't work, he'd be like, well, get that one out of the way. Let's get another one here. Experiment more. Like, it's
That's
insane.
Yeah.
so weird.
But one of them literally escaped from his apartment and was, like, just walking around outside, and these ladies found him, and they were like, oh my gosh, this poor boy, like, what's going on? He was so, like, drugged up and, like, not right in the head
Mm-hmm.
that he couldn't really speak for himself or, like, do anything, like, function properly.
Right.
And they called the police. The police came. Jeffrey Dahmer came out and was like, oh, this is just my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And the
I
police
remember.
brought him back into Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment, and they were like, all right, see ya.
That is-
Imagine being those police officers.
Crazy. And he was like young too, like
Like, if they would have just stepped
17?
a little more into the apartment, Jeffrey Dahmer had bodies all over his apartment. If they would have just done a little more searching, that would have been the end of it.
Mm-hmm. It gives me, like,
it's just
the
like
chills.
I'm sure, like, obviously if I was like one of the police officers, like, you wouldn't think, oh, let me just like look in this guy's apartment, you know? But like they should just
It's like he
have
said-
done that.
In that time, it's like he said to the cops that he was gay, basically, and he had a boyfriend, and they were like, oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, and they were
Like,
like,
we don't really want anything to do with that. You're just, like, two lovers.
Mhm.
Like, oh, you guys are... Go
right.
do your thing. We don't really want
Yeah.
to be a part of that. Like, in that time, it was just so rare, I think, for that to even be a thing, that they were like, oh,
Mhm. They
Just
were
scared
more
them.
like-
we don't want to know any more information about this.
Yeah, they just wanted to leave at that point.
Yeah, they were like, oh. So that's crazy. And then they're like, when they searched Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment and stuff, they, like, found weird things. He was, like, planning basically a throne of, like, he was, like, making a throne out of their bones and stuff. So he could, like, sit at
Where
the
was he
throne of
gonna
all these bodies.
put
In his
that
apartment.
throne?
Yeah, he was just making it in his apartment, like, at his table. In his apartment.
That's
Like, he, like,
That is
and that's what, so I
crazy.
think that's why Jeffrey Dahmer's story is so intriguing is because he gave so much information. He's probably the most information we have of any serial killer because he told the police everything. He was like, oh yeah, this is what I was like trying to like create with all these dead bodies. And like he told them what he was doing to the bodies and how he tried to, I don't even know what the proper words are when he would like put them in those concoctions to like
dissolve them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like he just told them so much information.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how
That
does
is-
even like someone even think about that?
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
That's just crazy. Like, just imagining, like, being there and, like, seeing that happen sounds,
Unreal.
like the worst thing ever in the whole entire world.
And props to the
So,
final guy who escaped.
yeah.
Yeah.
He literally
Saved everybody.
was in his apartment, like, about to probably be killed or drilled into, and
Mhm.
he ran out and found the police and was like,
Thankfully, they listened and wasn't
yeah,
just
and
like,
they weren't just like,
oh,
oh,
no.
no,
Mm-hmm.
it's fine. But, yeah, and that's the reason why I think Jeffrey Dahmer is just a sociopath, is because even his first murder victim, like, it was years later before he killed anyone else. Like, I
Mhm.
genuinely think he was struggling with it in his head. Like, he wanted, and I don't even know if he necessarily wanted to kill all of them, but, like, things would happen, and he was like, oh, now they have to be, are basically dead. Like, when he started drilling in their head and pouring stuff into their brain, like,
Mhm.
he was like, well, they can't even live. Or they would just
Yeah.
die from that. Like, he wanted to try and keep them alive,
Right.
which is so, like, morbid.
Mhm.
But also, like, his first murder was so, like, there was so much time in between that one and his next one
Right.
that I don't think he necessarily wanted to kill people, but once he started it, he couldn't stop.
Right. So who was his first murder, do you know?
Yeah, it was some kid that was, and I mean, he was still a kid, I believe, whenever he murdered this guy, but he saw him jogging on a trail,
Mhm.
and he, like, stalked him, basically, and then, like, or he was, like, a hitchhiker or something. He, like, needed
Yeah.
a ride, and Jeffrey was like, well, just come back to my place, and we can, like, hang out for a little while. And then finally the guy was like, well, I better get going, and he literally, like, picked up a dumbbell and was like, no, I don't want you to leave.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. That is crazy. This feels like our decade episodes where one person just like says
Oh,
what they
the
learn.
information
Yeah.
of the decade. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're just
a lot.
learning a bunch of stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's all really crazy. I probably know too much about serial killers. Like, when I was, like, studying them so much during that first job I had, I literally had to stop myself from doing it anymore because I was, like, starting to, like, because I still live by myself in an apartment, and I would get home and I was like, I, like, psyched myself out, like, I was so paranoid about it because I was all day at work reading about them,
Right.
and it's like, it'll mess with your head.
Yeah. Also, like, why? It could be like a simple answer. Like, why aren't there like mini serial killers anymore?
I know. I always wonder that too.
I think I feel like it's because of all the serial killers in the past. Like, we've learned from our mistakes with them, and so sure, we still make mistakes, but not the same ones. So, and there's more cameras everywhere.
I feel like there's so much more
True.
technology.
Yeah.
And, like, police. Like, I think even if you go back and watch a documentary about any of the serial killers we just talked about, the stuff they had for their investigation is now, today, so much more advanced. That'd be so much easier to find these guys.
Right.
Mhm.
Whereas back then, they didn't have everything that we had. Or, you know, they didn't know how to use it, or they didn't know how to get that evidence. Or now it's, like, so advanced that it would be almost impossible to leave no trace and not track
Yeah.
it back to that person.
So there could be way more serial killers. They just didn't get to that number because they were caught before they could.
Right. And, like, everybody has a phone, so everybody has a camera on them always. And so like, and everyone is smarter now. So they just like know, oh, there's suspicious activity. I'm going to record it or report it or
Right.
Yeah.
something like that, which is very good. Glad about that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, of course, bad things can still happen. It's just like, you have to be like way better at it now. So.
Yeah, if there were still like serial killers like running around, I would be so scared always.
Oh my goodness,
Right.
that'd be horrifying.
Yeah, that's one. So we always say like, oh, wish we were like in the 80s, but that's one reason why I'm glad we're not.
Yeah,
Because like the 80s was like crazy for serial killers.
serial killer.
It's so windy.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
It's very windy because it's supposed to be windy today, tomorrow. It's supposed to storm on Wednesday, and then
like a tornado.
it's gonna be. Don't tell her
I'm like so scared of tornadoes.
that. She's like deathly terrified of.
Why is
weather.
there
I don't know. I just
so much
heard
storm?
Oh, like tonight?
that. No, on Wednesday night.
Oh, okay.
I heard there's a tornado warning or something.
I'm not taking you to rehearsal. Oh wait,
No, I do have a rehearsal. On
I'm not
Wednesday.
taking you. I'm not gonna be sitting in a car during a tornado watch warning, whatever.
She could be lying.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, we'll see.
Well, also, how do they even know a tornado's coming that early?
Yeah.
You know?
True, but I always get confused with like the watch and the warning because like it doesn't really make sense, which is
Yeah, and I'm
which.
like, how do you guys know there's a tornado like 5 days in advance?
Yeah. I
I
mean,
don't
my mom
understand
told me that it's
weather.
like the tornado parts is like before the storm and then right after the storm because like the winds. So, like, but like during the storm when you're like in it, you're like, there's less likely to be a tornado
Oh, I see what you're saying.
because it's like the front of the storm
Yeah.
that like is mixing with the wind and then tornado.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, okay, honestly, I don't even know why I'm so scared of tornadoes because, like, so what? My whole house is gone.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm not probably going to die from a tornado. I should just move somewhere where there's no tornadoes.
I've lived 20 years and I've never seen a tornado in my life.
Oh my gosh, you lived 20 years. That's actually crazy to say it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost 21 here in a couple months.
Mm.
That is crazy. I don't know why saying it like that just makes it so different.
I've lived 20 years. You've almost lived 20 years now.
No. I'm still 9 years old.
Oh.
Well, I'm going to be 24 in like 2 months.
That's so crazy.
Does it feel weird?
Yeah. I don't think 24 even feels that weird, but like the fact that. So I was born in 2000, which means that my birthday and age is really easy to know. Like, it's
Mhm.
2024, so I'm turning 24.
Right.
Next year is 2025. I will be 25 years old.
That's crazy.
And like, obviously not until the very end of the year, so it's like not that crazy yet because I'm not even 24 yet, but that's halfway to 30. I hate that.
Well, ages are just so crazy because I don't know. I still forget that I'm literally 19. Like, I know it, but like when people ask me how old I am, I keep trying to say 18 still.
Hmm.
Because like I know I'm older than 18 and I'm younger than 20, but I'm not 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I realized actually? While editing it, when we record, we talk to the viewers. And a lot of podcasts that I watch, they talk to each other. But when we have a guest, we
Yeah.
talk to each other.
Mm.
But when it's just us, we talk to the viewers. Like we're telling them a story.
Yeah, I was wondering what to do at the first start. I was like, hey.
But also I was thinking it could be the way that we're set up because we're like, you know, facing that way instead of facing each other.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I don't really watch that many podcasts, but Braden, my boyfriend, if he's going to make it in the podcast, he watches a lot of podcasts, like the Joe Rogan podcast and stuff. And I think they're all sitting at a table, like a rectangular table, but they have so many camera views
Mhm.
that they can all just, like, be on the screen or, like,
Yeah.
cut to the person that's talking. So it does feel like more of a... we're talking.
Conversation.
Yeah. And then, like, I don't sometimes I'll watch the Call Her Daddy podcast, and they're literally like facing each other,
Mm-hmm.
and then the cameras are like on them. So
Yeah.
they talk to each other too. But
We tried to have individual angles,
yeah,
but it just crashes out our editing software.
Yeah.
So it's a thing for the
Horrible.
future.
I hate editing this thing.
Yeah. One day we will have that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
Do you
there
wanna keep
anything else
going?
you wanted to add or talk about? Even if it's not serial killers?
yeah, true. We can talk about anything now because basically,
yeah. Basically, we're just here.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we're just hanging out. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like everyone on this podcast is really gonna love seeing me on here and
oh yeah,
really gonna want me back for more. So,
Yeah.
they'll need to know who their competition is for fans.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's me.
If you want to be titled as our number one fan, you got to do more.
Yeah, you gotta do better
Do more
than
than
she's
me,
already
which
doing.
I do a lot. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so it's kind of a big deal.
Are you doing anything special for your birthday this year?
I haven't really decided what I'm gonna do yet. My boyfriend is not 21, so I can't really like go out to a bar or anything. Which that's what I've done the past couple years is go out to a bar and like invite a bunch of people and just have a good time. But yeah, I just can't really do that this year. So it'll either will have to be like a home party. Or, I don't know. My birthday's also on a Sunday, so
Mm.
our family's probably going to want to have my actual birthday party at our grandparents' house on
Mhm.
that Sunday. And then, like, I guess I could do something the Saturday night before my birthday,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but I haven't really put a lot of thought into it yet.
That's what I would do a lot is do it the day before and then it
Mhm.
would be the sleepover so then we'd wake up and
Yeah.
then be like and then everybody would tell me happy birthday.
Yeah, it's also it makes more sense when I go out to a bar to have it, like, the night before, because when you're at a bar, you guys don't know this, but when you go to a bar, it's like bars open really late, and like I go to Mo Country a lot, which is in like Oak Grove or something, and that bar opens kind of early, but like it stays open till 3 a.m. And so people don't start like showing up, and it's not really like a party there until like midnight.
Right.
So if you go there on your birthday at midnight, it's not your birthday anymore.
right. So you
So
want to
then
do it
it's
the day
like-
before.
Yeah.
True.
So if you did it the night before and you showed up, it's like you're partying into your birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah.
That is.
Wow.
But then I feel like whenever you go home, then you're like kind of like sad and feel bad for your birthday.
Yeah. I guess it kind of depends on. Well, I mean, like last year, I literally.
How hard you party?
Yeah. Last year on my birthday, I literally went. Like on my birthday, I went to dinner with like a close group of friends, and then went to Mo Country with a big group of friends, and we did just party into my non-birthday.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone was still celebrating me. So.
Yeah, that'd be kind of crazy if it like hits midnight and everyone's like, okay, well,
Yeah, they're like, it's not your birthday anymore.
yeah, and then they just like ignore you.
Yeah.
Like that would
I'm
be
like,
so
oh, let's
mean.
get me another birthday shot. And you're like, no, it's not your birthday. You can buy your own drink. I'd be like,
Oh,
That would be crazy.
so yeah, I mean, it just depends. I mean, obviously you can still have fun partying into your non-birthday.
mhm.
Right.
But yeah, and yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, that's like, so yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do, but my birthday is always a very big deal to me. So.
Well, yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
I feel like birthdays are always a big deal. Like even if you pretend like you don't care about your birthday,
yeah.
I feel like you
Definitely
always do.
care.
Yeah, I care about my birthday and everyone knows it. And so that's why
Yeah.
everyone treads lightly on my birthday.
Well, it's so fun to celebrate your birthday because like
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
My problem is that I always have like such big expectations for my birthday. Like, I think
gosh.
everyone's going to do something so nice for me.
I
I'm
have
like, everyone's
that.
going to surprise me with something amazing.
Yeah, that's definitely
today.
one of my red flags is I have
Yeah.
such big expectations for like holidays or events that involve
Mhm.
like gifts or people doing things for me.
Yeah.
I expect way too much even if I don't say it, and then like I not necessarily always disappointed, but like I'm just like, oh,
Well, it's kind of hard
Yeah.
not to be disappointed, even if you were. Because if you just think of such a high thing, then anything's going to be disappointing, whether you want
For
it to be or
sure.
not.
I even do that just in life in general. Like, if
Mhm.
Brayden doesn't come home, like, when he said I'm like, he's probably at the store getting me a gift. Or he's probably like doing something really sweet for me, so I should just wait for him, and then he shows up with nothing, and I'm like, oh. But I do that literally in like, every aspect of life. I'm like, well, they're probably doing this because
Yeah,
because they're doing something
literally.
super nice. Well, he should be. So that's on him.
Sometimes he does, and then I'm like, oh.
And then you're actually surprised
Yeah.
because you didn't actually think it was going to happen.
But I've kind of had to like train myself not to have those expectations because then I just get really disappointed.
Mm-hmm. And it's nobody's fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
his fault
just-
except my own.
Yeah.
And then you're just like kind of
It's like-
grumpy, and they're like, "What's wrong?" And
Yeah,
you're like,
he never like said he was gonna go get me Starbucks that day or whatever.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
was just like, I think that's what he's doing. And then he comes home with no Starbucks, and I'm like. But then if you have no expectations for it, when he does surprise you for Starbucks, it's like. He surprised me with Starbucks. This is the best day of my life.
"Yeah,
Well, it can't ever be a surprise if you're...
Yeah, if you're always
expecting
expecting
so
it.
true."
Yeah.
I used to think that I would come home... Like, whenever I would ask for a sleepover, and then my parents would say no, I used to think that I would come home and they would be there at my house anyway.
You're like, I know you guys are joking with me.
They're
Yeah.
like, "You're just trying to get me to think it's not
I
happening."
really thought that.
Well-
and I was always super disappointed
Yeah,
when
but
they
you
weren't
really
there.
Disappointed yourself. Yeah, there was like 1 year for my birthday. I don't remember which birthday it was, but I was like 11 or something, or 10 maybe. I don't remember. But I like planned a birthday party for myself, and it was when we lived at Grandma and Grandpa's house.
Mhm.
And I was like, that day I saw all my friends that I invited, and I was like, "Are you going to see my birthday party?" And every single one of them was like, "No, I can't make it anymore." That day of my party.
Wow.
And I was like, oh. And so I was like so sad and like got to Grandma and Grandpa's and they were all there for a surprise party.
Wow. Well, they turned your birthday into a surprise
party.
party.
Yeah.
Even though you already planned it.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy because then I like, all my friends told me they couldn't come, so I was like so sad.
Yeah.
But then everyone was there and I was like, oh. But like, yeah, that was kind of a crazy thing that for my
Yeah, they
parents
had
to do.
to like force you to be sad so that they could
Yeah,
then
I, like,
do
had
the
to, like,
thing
I
you
just-
already were wanting.
Yeah, I just wanted to like plan my own party and they were like trying to probably plan me a surprise party and they were like, okay.
Okay.
So they were like, okay, everyone tell Marcie you can't come. Had to
That
like
is
really
so
break
mean.
me down to really hype me up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
But, yeah.
always, every single party I ever plan, I'm always disappointed in it only because I expect there to be like
So
a lot of
many
people there, but I don't know anybody.
So real.
Like
Yeah.
at all. I know
There
like
were
5 people.
So many birthdays that I invited too many people.
Mm.
Like, I would invite everyone that was like my best friend, my acquaintance. And I was like, I want my birthday party to be so big, like everyone I know at this party.
Mm-hmm.
But then no one would talk to me. Or like only like my group of people would talk to me and everyone else was like off having fun with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And,
But
like,
they didn't even talk to you like even a little bit?
yeah, one time my 70th birthday party, I wanted to go to Worlds of Fun because it was the first time they did like Winterfest.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I like had a bunch of people come and there was like certain groups of people that just went off and did their own thing. Like they weren't even with me.
There were like
I literally
3 or
hate when that
4
happens.
different like groups of people.
Yeah.
In all different parts of the park.
That is crazy.
And then in the end, like they were like, oh, "Happy birthday!" I'm like,
you didn't even spend it with me.
"Yeah." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh," and they brought other friends.
What?
Yeah, I
That was
remember
what was
that
even
too.
crazier. Like I invited specifically these people, and then they brought friends with them, and then went off with them.
That is
And so I
actually
realized,
crazy. Did you like pay for them?
no, I didn't pay
that's
for them.
good because that would
Yeah, I
have
would've
been.
been real
There's no way.
pissed off.
That
but
would have been
I've had
crazy.
multiple parties like that where I've like just invited too many people just because I like wanted it to be this big thing where everyone was there for me,
Mm-hmm.
and then I realized, oh, these people like aren't hanging out with me.
Yeah.
Or,
Right.
like, I don't know. It just made me upset because like they weren't like giving me all the attention.
Mm.
That's why I wanted you here, guys,
Yeah.
to give me the attention. So I realized that I just need to invite my select group of friends who know me and know the attention I need on my birthday, because I cry every year on my birthday.
Why?
Because I have such high expectations for it that when things go wrong even slightly, I'm like,
that is so
yeah,
sad.
I cry every year. I actually didn't cry last year.
Good.
Yeah,
That's good.
Lived up.
but usually I cry because I just do it to myself.
No, that
Oh
is
my
so
gosh.
sad though, for real.
I
Yeah,
don't think.
still terrible.
Well, actually, it's coming up on a year since the last time I cried.
What?
I know. That's crazy.
the last time a tear ran down my face was last November.
For what?
Uncle Joe's funeral.
You didn't even cry when Cozy died? Or was that before?
That was before.
Oh, you didn't cry when Patchy died? Oh.
I
did.
Slightly like, yeah, she did when I told her.
Oh, I was sobbing.
Yeah, that's so
Brayden.
sad.
I think I didn't let myself because like I was at her house and like.
Oh. See, mine was so surreal because the Chiefs game was just over. Mom calls me and tells me that Patches died. And Brayden and his best friend Chris were at my house watching the game. They're sitting on my couch. And I get off the phone to Mom and I look at Brayden and he's like, what happened? Because he could tell by the phone call that something was wrong. And I was like, my cat Patches died. And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I was like, tears started flowing down my face. His friend sitting there. I'm like, so embarrassing. But like, I was so sad. And then Riley and Crescent were downstairs. And I told them, I was like, Patches died. And they were like, oh, come down here. And I came down and just was like sobbing. And they were like hugging me. Mm-hmm. But that's my thing. Like, well, you know, I always cry at everything. Like,
right, me too.
I cry at least once a day. At least.
Well, that's really sad. I used to be that way, but
She used to cry like 50 times a day.
Yeah, real.
Yeah.
Legitimately. Out of like no reason. Like she would just start crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you cry today?
I didn't cry today.
Is it always because like you're sad or just because
No.
it just happens?
I mean, sometimes it just happens. Like, if you ever talk to Brayden about this, like, there'll be times where I'll like just be on TikTok and something sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh my gosh. I literally cry at sad videos all the time.
I will
It's
literally cry
crazy.
at TikToks all the time. Or sometimes I'll even like cry at a TikTok, like it to show it to Brayden.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm showing it, I'm crying again at the same video. Like, one time it was literally, and this is how like dumb it is sometimes. One time it was a mother moose, and she had 2 twin babies following her,
Oh.
and like they were new babies. And then there was a like larger moose behind her that kept following behind, and she would like turn around and chase that one off. And the caption said, "A mother goose trying to get her other child, trying to get that one off to like go do its own thing because she had new babies."
Oh.
The way I sobbed.
That is so
because
sad.
that moose didn't know why his mother was chasing him off. He just saw that his mom had
so
2
sad.
new babies, and then she didn't want him anymore.
That's
I could literally
horrible.
start crying about it now. It's the saddest
That is
TikTok.
sad.
It was so sad. I
Wow.
literally cried so much, and Brayden was like, "Oh, what is going on?" But like, I'm pretty sure I cried yesterday. I mean, I cry in every TV show I watched with Brayden too. I can't remember what we were watching the other day. Oh, he made me watch. I actually would like the movie. It's like called Free State of Jones. It's a war movie, and in the beginning of the movie, it's like about the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And these 2, like, the soldiers are trying to chase this guy, and they have dogs, like, that chase him, you know, to get him. And so the dog was chasing the guy, and he turned around and stabbed it a bunch of times.
Oh.
I was literally sobbing. And I was like, Brayden, you know, I cannot watch things like this. And he was like, I'm so sorry, I forgot this is in the movie. Like, it's not, no more animal killing in the whole movie. And I was like, there better not be.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
Like when you suggested that we watch American Psycho.
Yeah.
And you forgot everything
He
about
did-
that show.
Well, yeah, he did kill the cat, though. The cat was
True.
still
Oh,
alive.
yeah, yeah.
True.
But yeah, I forgot all the bad things.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
like, I
great.
didn't forget the bad things. I remembered all the killing.
Right.
I didn't remember all the other.
Well, you know
and
what?
the
I went
appropriate
home and I
scenes.
watched those parts.
You would. What a crazy thing to admit. She's like,
She
I
said that
needed
to
to
me.
see that.
She said that to me in the car last night. I did not expect you to admit that to anyone else. We were in the car and she was like, I'm going to watch all those parts whenever I get home. And I was like,
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, it takes away from the movie a little bit.
Right.
You don't watch
I
them
think-
because,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, fair. You kind of have to watch those to really understand the whole movie, yeah.
Yeah. Because we
So
skipped a
but
part.
did you just watch those scenes or did you rewatch the whole movie?
No, just. Just the scenes.
That makes it a little worse on your part. She was like, sexy. It's like, oh,
That's crazy.
that's so funny. Is that what you did?
I just skipped it.
No.
Oh, okay. That's
In the
better.
video.
I didn't search it, so that's fine.
Yeah, it's not in search history, so.
Uh,
I would have opened the private browser anyway.
It's so
oh
good.
my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't cry. I don't know, like, why. Like, I don't know if that's
It's probably a problem.
something that, like,
Yeah.
maybe because Dad always told us not to cry. And so, like,
Yeah, but look at me.
I was about to say it didn't work on Marcie.
Didn't work on Kelsey
maybe
either.
he did it to me more.
Maybe your
Maybe.
chakras are just blocked and you can open them.
I also feel like, I mean, just in general, and this is not me being sexist, but I think guys just genuinely don't have as much emotions as girls.
Yeah.
So they just don't cry as much. Like, genuinely, all men just don't have. They're not as emotional as women.
Mm-hmm. They don't really feel the
Yeah.
need to.
I mean, we have so many hormones that make us emotional all the time.
It's crazy.
There are
Well,
obviously certain
rip them
times a
out.
month I cry more.
Right.
Or I'm
right.
a meaner person than I normally am. So. that
I
might
just
be part of
don't-
it.
Understand how you can like watch something so sad and something so sad happens to you and then you just like don't cry about it.
I'll, like, feel very, like, sad and, like, my heart is, like...
I feel like you were kind of always like that, though. Even when you were little, like, when we would be... Because our dad was in the military, and so we lived in Kentucky/Tennessee for so many years. And when we would, like, leave... We'd go visit our grandparents, and then when we'd be leaving to go back to our house in Kentucky, we'd all be crying, saying bye, because we're going to miss each other, and Aaron was not crying.
Wow.
Someone who didn't cry, but I think that's also because we visit them, like, once a month. We saw
Yeah.
them very often.
So you just like
I still
didn't-
cried
So,
every time.
like, I was like, I'm literally gonna see them, like, tomorrow.
Yeah, I was so drama.
Yeah.
I was so drama. Like, it'd be raining as we left, and I'd be, like, watching the
Oh.
raindrops down the window, and I'd be like, these are my tears falling down the window.
Yeah, also one time, I don't know if it was whenever we were saying goodbye, or if, I think it was whenever Dad left, like
Oh,
left
Afghanistan?
for... Yeah. And, like, we were in the car and we were driving home, and everyone was crying, and at that time, I cried. I was crying. And then Marcie literally turned to me and she was like, you don't even know why you're crying. And I was like...
I remember you telling me that one time and you were like, I never cried again after that.
Maybe you're the reason why I don't cry.
Yeah, maybe it's me, not Dad.
But I remember that, and that was...
You finally were letting your emotions out, and I was like, you don't even know what crying is.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
That's
Well, I
wild.
was also, what, like, 9?
Yeah,
How old
maybe
am I?
younger than that. I was probably... I think I was 6 or 7.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Well, that was mean.
Well, whenever times, like, I'm watching things and I feel sad, like, me crying is just, like, my eyes. Like, there's, like, a little sliver of water
Oh.
on the eye line.
Yeah.
That happens way too often. You know what I hate is when I'm crying and then I can't talk anymore
Yeah.
because it'll just make it worse. And then so the person's like trying to talk to you and you're sitting there like,
Yeah.
and you're like trying to really want to talk so bad, but you just can't. And so it just feels so dramatic and I hate it.
Yeah, you're like,
But,
it's
like-
really not this deep. I just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just like, you're being all like dramatic because you're not talking, but you just can't do anything about it.
Hmm.
And it's so sad.
Yeah. Or it's like, you shouldn't really be crying.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're trying to hold it in or like toughen out. And then someone's like, what's wrong? Or, are you
Oh
okay?
my gosh. Yeah, and then you're just like,
And then I
not.
just sob. Because I'm like,
Yeah. Well, but then it's like you hold it in for so long and then you start crying at something that isn't sad at all. And so then everybody thinks you just started bawling because somebody said they didn't like your hair. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something that really you shouldn't be crying that hard.
Right,
about.
and you're just like absolutely losing it.
Yeah, you're like, it's not like, this isn't even really upsetting me that much.
Yeah.
But now I am crying so much over something that is not upsetting me that much.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't even explain to you why I'm crying so hard. Yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. Just yeah.
Can't really.
Oh my gosh. I know I'm such an ugly crier. Like making like that ugly like
yeah.
cry face.
I don't think I've ever seen an ugly crier in my life.
Wow.
Thank you.
I don't understand someone saying they're an ugly crier.
Well, I just
It's
hate
like-
it
The
because
face you make, like, well, me, not you. I've never seen you cry like that. But like
Mm-hmm.
when I cry, I'm always like,
yeah, it's like I hate that it's so hard to cry without making the cry face.
yeah,
And then it just feels so dramatic.
yeah.
But
Like-
see, at least me personally, the cry face just makes me feel even more bad for the person crying.
Oh,
Like, it makes me feel more empathy for them.
mm-hmm.
Right.
And it makes me feel more sad.
Well,
Because,
I'm also that person that will cry when I see other people crying.
Mm.
Like I'm a very empathetic crier, so like I will have no emotion to whatever they're crying about, and I'll just start crying because they're crying.
Mm.
Right.
So I
Usually
also have
that's
that
how
problem.
my crying happens. Like, if
Mm.
something sad, but it has to be something that I
That you're attached
kind of
to, a
care
little.
about.
Yeah. You know,
or
one
like
time,
I could understand.
Yeah.
one
why they're
time
doing that.
it was my 10th birthday party. Okay, literally all my friends were there, and my sister had found this duck on like outside our house, baby duck, real one, and we
Yeah.
were sorry, and like the day before, and like my friends were all over, and the next day, literally like it was dead, and I was so sad. I was crying so hard, and all my friends were like, "You don't even like know that duck," and I was like, "What?" And I was like so mad because all my friends were like saying that I was like dramatic and stuff, but also they were saying it wasn't even my birthday and it was my sister's birthday because we were sharing a party because we were about to move,
Mm.
and they're like, "It's not even your birthday party," and I was like, "You're right," because I didn't want to.
One time I had a pet squirrel.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
did you just find it?
Yeah, he just came into the salon one time.
Oh.
He like ran in there, and I got him out. Dad had to come help me get him out, and so I was like, we were trying to like set him free. We like had him in a box, and we like took him out of the salon, put him out back, and we're like letting him out, and he like kind of crawled off, but then he came back and crawled up my arm onto my back, and I was like,
Oh my gosh, that would
What do
literally
I
scare me so
do?
bad.
but then he was just like, he didn't leave me ever since then
It's still there.
until he died.
No, that's so sad.
Yeah, and I named him Hammy from Over the Hedge.
Over the hedge is
Wait.
literally... Have you seen that?
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, the
Oh,
little squirrel. His name's Hammy. So I named him
That
Hammy,
is such a good
and
movie.
in the box I left him a little like sweatshirt thing so he could stay warm. I got him water. I got him lots of nuts, and I left it in there thinking that he would leave the next day.
Mhm.
Like, why would he stay in this box? I
Right.
come out the next morning, he's still in there. And I
Aw.
mean, when I say he's like a baby, like he like fits like right here.
Aw.
He was so cute, like so sweet, and he would crawl up on my hands, and I would feed him water. He'd like try and nibble on my fingers, and he was so sweet. He would like to hang out on my shoulder.
That is
And-
so like Disney princess.
Yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
know.
That is crazy.
And then he, yeah, it's so emotional. But he, one time I came out and he was like almost lifeless.
Almost?
Yeah, he was still alive, but he was like just kind of laying there. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I like pick him up and he's like floppy.
oh,
And I was like so sad, and I don't know why he like was doing that, but also he had so many fleas, like then they got over on my clothes and stuff.
oh,
So I had to set him back in there, and I told Crescent, because this is at Crescent's house. I don't think I lived there at the time yet. And Crescent, I told her, I was like, I don't know what's wrong with Hammy, but I don't think he's gonna make it, and I don't know how to deal with it. And then she said, don't worry about it. And I was like, don't tell me what happened to him. And she took care of Hammy for me.
She
what did
took care of him?
Yes, because he was dead. And I couldn't dispose of him. Because it would be too emotional for me.
So wait, we don't know why he was like that?
I don't know. I mean, my thought is because he was so little, like maybe he wasn't supposed to be away from his mom or something.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. He was like a baby.
Oh, you were his mom.
Yeah. And I didn't know how to care for him. It's all my fault that Hammy's dead. And
No.
he was my pet squirrel. I have so many pictures and videos of you. I can show you afterwards, but
How long did you have him for?
like 3 days.
That is so sad.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so sad about him still
I
to
didn't
this
know that
day.
ending.
Yeah. I don't like talking about it.
Well,
Rest in peace, Hammy.
yeah.
Is he like buried in the yard?
She told me she threw him in the trash. Later on, she told me that's what she did with him.
That is crazy.
Yeah. She was like, yeah, he was dead. I just threw him in the garbage.
We buried the
Oh.
duck in our backyard.
Yeah.
And then we moved. So, like, literally 2 days later. So,
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, ending on that full circle note of Crescent being a killer.
Yeah, imagine he wasn't dead yet and she was like, just kidding. I'm sure he was dead. That's what I have to believe.
Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode. Leave a comment for rest in peace for Hammy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest in peace for Hammy. And also comment down below who your favorite, or maybe that's not the word to use, who your most interested in serial killer is.
Yeah.
yeah.
Put that in the comments. And
Just like right there.
yeah, that is all we have for you today. So, thank you so much for listening or watching. And thank you for Marcie being on here.
Yay!
Hopefully she'll be back
Yes.
soon. And stay tuned. Stay tuned for next week to see what the episode's all about.
Yeah, you don't get to know till next week, so.
Yeah. And bye, I guess.
Bye!
See ya.
Now we gotta go get food.